Why did Jesus become the figure that he became, especially in current day society? Why did he become so important and not other first century figures like Apollonius of Tyana, etc.?
Yeah, well, historical accident, right? Basically, everybody rolled the dice, and then he's the one that rolled snake eyes. Everybody else, everybody else didn't. The reality is there were two moments that really determined that. The first was when Paul decided to allow Gentiles to enter the church without becoming kosher, without becoming a Jew, without having to circumcise themselves, without having to follow dietary laws and things like that. When Paul made that decision, that allowed the church to basically compete with other sects, other religions of the time. They could have a huge influx of Gentile interest. Had he not done that, the religion would have stayed small and probably would have died out. It would not have been a significant religion. But allowing it to basically become another, compete on the open market with other mystery cults. Now, it still stayed small, but it had many competitors, and that were even more famous and more successful than it. But it grew big enough to be, along with the others, just like any other religion would, just like Mormonism has today, for example. That once we get to Constantine, and now we're talking like 300 AD and 310, and Constantine has multiple advisors in his court, and the Christians were one of them, Lactantius, who became the tutors to his son. So he had Lactantius, but he also had advisors from other mystery cults and other religions as well. And in the 100 years before him, the empire had been splitting apart. It would break into two halves, and then there would be a civil war, and they'd try to fight to reunite it. And a lot of emperors tried using a religion, picking a religion to be the unifying force to reunify the things. And whenever the emperor would do that, then he would get assassinated or whatever, and his scheme would fall apart, and then there would be a new emperor, and they'd try something else. And when Constantine did the same thing, and then this time, as they're picking religions, he picked Christianity to be the unifying religion. And when he did that, he didn't get assassinated. He actually won and remained in power, and then his successors remained in power. And so that one finally took. And so had he not made that decision to make Christianity the religion of the empire, and looted pagan temples and gave the money to the Christian churches, and then gave privileges to Christians, and then as time went on, as his successors took over, you get all the way to Theodosius in 395 AD. He's actually outlawing not being a Christian. He's actually mandating that by law you have to be a Christian. So once that had happened, it was a foregone conclusion which religion would be the dominant religion for hundreds of years. And there was one moment where there was almost that got reversed, and that was when Julian came into power, and he tried to reverse that, but he got assassinated or killed, and then that was the end of that. And so had it not been for Paul opening it up, and it had not been for Constantine turning it into the religion of the empire, Christianity would not be a big force today, and consequently Jesus would not be a significant figure today.
Oh, okay.